Welcome to another video of Body Connection. Today I want to talk about posture and awareness. You see, most of us today are trying to fix their posture by simply forcing themselves to sit or even straight upward. But this is not how it works, because posture is not something that you can force. It has to be earned, actually it has to be built. And today I'm going to show you how you can reset it properly. First of all, let's see what a posture actually really is. Because posture is not something simply how you look, but it's simply how you hold yourself against the gravity. When it comes to posture, there are three main components that we're using. We have strength, we have awareness, and we have endurance. Why? Because strength is giving your muscular support to simply stay upright tall. Otherwise, everything will collapse. When it comes to awareness, is simply to let you recognize when you're simply collapse or when you simply compensate in a different way. And when it comes to endurance, obviously simply to allow you to maintain this alignment over the time. And over the time, we're not talking about 10 seconds, we're talking about hours. And really important thing to know is that a good posture is something that you cannot force, like we said before. It's simply the result of the body that is strong enough, conscious enough, and conditioned enough to hold itself naturally and well against gravity. So, imagine now this. If your upper back is weak, your shoulders will collapse and go back to be rounded. If your core is weak, your ribs will simply flare. If your glutes are inactive and not used, from this position, the pelvis will simply shift. Okay, and most often you will see that when it comes to tight muscle, it's simply the weak muscles that lose control over time. So many people use the stretching to try to address this problem. But if only we use the stretching, and let me tell you why the stretching by himself only not work. When it comes to rounded shoulders, you see, if I will stretch my chest, okay, maybe I can open a little bit. But the problem is that if my upper back muscles are not very strong, okay, simply the rounded shoulders will go back to initial position over time. So this is why it's very important that we work on that too, okay? So when it comes to restore condition and that is required to follow these principles, we work on three important components. One, we have strength. Two, we have stability, and three, we simply have a control. Why strength? But simply because you need a strong muscles, okay? We talk about a core, we talk about glutes, we talk about upper back, simply to support your structure against gravity, same like we said before. You need stability, because stability is your ability to resist for unwanted movements, to keep your spine, your shoulders and hips aligned when you have to move, when you have to train, and even when you have to stand. And the last one, we have control, and it's simply the coordination between your brain and your body connection to allow you to hold the right position and move without compensation. So what are the key factors in having a strong and solid posture? Number one is going to be your core control. The reason for that, because your core stabilize your spine and keep you aligned during the movement and also into your daily practice. Number two, we have the upper back strength or the upper back muscles, because your upper back have to be strong enough to hold your shoulders backward and stabilize them in the same position that they should be without forcing, so that you don't collapse through your posture. And number three, we have to have a breathing, we have to learn the breathing mechanics. And what it means a proper breathing using your diaphragm or doing this belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, because most people in today's world, we are doing these short breaths by breathing through a shallow breath, breathing through your chest, okay? I want you to simply become aware of how you breathe, place your hand on your belly and simply try to take a deep inhale through your nose, feel the belly raising, and then simply let the air go out. Try to repeat this for a few times. Obviously, you just have to make it more natural. You will see, but using this diaphragmatic breathing, you're gonna help your core, you're gonna support actually your core, and you're gonna create the space in this rib cage for a simply better position. Now that we know that, I want you to take a moment and simply become aware now in this right position how your posture really is. You can have a test against the wall. This is how it's gonna look if I will stand against the wall. I wanna have my heels touching the wall. I have my glutes touching the wall. I want to have my back or the back of the shoulder touching the wall, and I want to have my head touching the wall. You're just going to become aware of how your position is right now. The reason for that, most of us, especially by using the phones, using these devices, sitting in the wrong position, the neck is going to be the first one that is going to go out of alignment, because even imagine if you're holding the phone, you're sitting in this and you're using it with the time, it's gonna completely send your head forward. And then we're gonna see what exercise we can do for that. Second one is gonna be your shoulders, right? If you're not forcing your shoulders and you not make your upper back, upper body muscles strong, the posture is simply gonna collapse. So you will see that if you have a neck like this, if your shoulders collapsing, then it's more likely that your core is not very strong, your glutes are not very strong, and the pelvis will go into this position. Okay, and then you will see how the whole way, the whole alignment of the posture is misaligned. So how we can do this, if I will be against the wall, I'm placing my heels, my glutes, my back, and my head. And I'll simply try to stay there for time. And simply breathe into it. Obviously, if you cannot hold, after a few seconds you will see that shoulders will come up, the neck will be completely outside, and this is the first point to show you where you actually are. Then when it comes to activating the neck muscles or the deep neck flexor muscles, we're going to use the chin tucks, one of the most easiest exercise. So first thing that I can do for that is simply to place my hand in the front. Okay, then what I want to do, I want to tuck my chin all the way in, and I want to slowly pull my neck all the way forward. Tuck my chin, forward. Tuck my chin. I want to do it for 10 repetitions. This is how it's going to look from the side. And what you also want to do, when you tuck your chin, you want to feel really your muscles in the neck pulling, extending and holding. If you do this few times a day, you will see how much this is going to help you to become aware of where your neck is, because most of the time in this deep activation of the deep neck flexors is going to help you to correct the forward head posture, and simply by taking off the pressure from the neck, because if my head is going forward, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the neck. Exercise number 2, we're simply going to work on the scapular retraction. So it means we want to learn what the protraction of the scapula is, what the retraction of the scapula is. Now, I simply want to use my hands, or even using the band. Then I want to send my scapula down, stabilize the shoulders, simply push the shoulders forward and bring the shoulders backward. Push the shoulders all the way forward and send the scapula backward. Now pay attention that I'm not pulling with my hand. I want my hand to be all the way straight, and I want to bring the shoulder blades all the way together. So from here, protraction is going to be really pushing the shoulders forward, and then retraction is going to be let this shoulder blades really come back and touching each other. Okay? And again, also this movement, we're going to go for 10 to 15 repetitions. When these become too easy, you can also use resistance bands and simply make it harder. One important thing that I want you to focus on, I don't want to go with the shoulders elevated, okay? So this will not be the correct. I want my shoulders to be stabilized all the time, okay? So it means simply see how far you can go. Your core can always be engaged, and see how far you can go. You go back to the position, you hold 2, 3, you protract. You hold 2, 3, you retract, hold 2, 3. Now very important, okay? Slow and controlled movements. And the reason for that, You want to simply use the upper and the middle back muscles to pull the shoulders back and down, so you create this awareness. And now number 3, we're simply gonna work on the dead bug. We're gonna go down on the floor to understand also how the core works in order for us to create this unity for the core and the spinal control. This is gonna keep our spine natural and stable, okay? And once when you have this, it's gonna be much more easy to understand also the core functioning. So first thing we wanna do with this exercise is we wanna brace the core down, okay? So I wanna put my pelvis in posterior position. I wanna brace, I wanna press the floor so that nothing, my lower back is completely against the wall. Now that I have this, I'm gonna keep my hands here. I'm simply gonna raise my legs up. Now that I'm to all 4 position, it means my wrist is gonna be aligned with my shoulder, my knee is gonna be aligned with my hip. Now that I have this, shoulder width apart, I simply wanna go with the opposite move. So the core is braced on the floor, I'm gonna go with the opposite, 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 the core is engaged, bring it back, 2, 3. So extend, 2, 3, stop. The core is always engaged and the back is always against the floor. So what I don't want you to do is simply to extend. Once when you have the position that you choose, let's say that you're gonna go with this, I don't want you to let the core collapse. When the core collapses, the whole lower back is engaged, there is no more core. Remember, when you keep the core braced, now you control the movement, even if you come only until this point, but you still engage the muscles and you come back. So this again, let's say that we want to learn the control and we simply want to go with, I would say, 8 to 10 repetitions from each side. Very important. You want to go with only one movement, find the end, hold, 2, 3 and come back. When you come back into your position where you have the stable position in the center, I want you to always check your position and how your core is engaged. We're going into a last exercise and then it's going to be the glute bridge hold. So normally we're doing this for reps where we simply engage, go for 3 seconds and then go back down. Now what we want to do, we simply want to hold the position for time because we want to learn how to active and also strengthen the glute muscles because they will also help us to stabilize the pelvis and also to support the proper spinal alignment. Now, when it comes to the movement and making the glutes strong, you need to understand that they will simply, once you make your glutes strong, they will take away the excessive load that normally we place on the lower back. And then also it's gonna support the overall posture. So when it comes to the movement, we're simply gonna go down on the floor, laying on the back. I wanna place my legs shoulder width apart, close to my body. I want to press my floor and then from here I want to press down through my feet, through the heels and then simply raise and engage with my glutes. Now I want to hold this from 5 to even 10 seconds. Hold, hold, hold. I want you to understand that once when you squeeze the glutes, all the body is aligned. It means I'm not overarching, I'm not putting pressure on my lower back or my neck. I simply want to go from the down position, press from the feet and simply squeeze the glute as much as I can. And then hold, 2, 3, for time. I can also place my hands here and then hold. And obviously, once you feel that the glutes start being active, then you can also start working on the movement and then hold, 2, 3, from 3 to 5 seconds, down, and then up again, and then squeeze, 2, 3, and down. Now, if you see all the movements that we did, okay, they're simply a basic exercise that we need, that we're actually gonna use to start building the awareness and learning how to engage the muscles that is gonna support your posture. We work with the neck, and we did the chin tucks. Then we work on the upper back with the scapular retraction. Then we work with the core when we simply did the dead bug. And then to finish, we use with the glutes where we did the glute bridge. And we hold for time. Now, the goal here was not a maximum strength yet. we simply is working, like we say, to activate the muscles and obviously reconnect with your body. Adding resistance bands, adding weights, using machines, or many other variations is simply going to help you to strengthen this area that was weak. Obviously, we was just making the first step into our progress. So thank you for being here, and our next video I want to show you what are the 5 best movements when it comes to what every human should master and should do. See you in the next one.